Before 2005, anytime anyone started talking about their business model, it probably sounded like this. Blah, 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 blah. That's why Alex Osterwalder, the author of Business Model Generation and other books, created something called the Business Model Canvas. The Business Model Canvas is a tool that helps you map, discuss, design, and invent new business models, and also avoid blah, 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 blah. Okay, so the Business Model Canvas has 9 building blocks. Let's take a quick look at what they are. Let's start with the customer segment. These are the people and organizations that you're trying to sell to. And this would include the people that are using your products and services, as well as, for example, the people paying for it, because they aren't always the same person. Then you've got your value proposition, which is just a fancy way of saying the products and services that you sell to your customers. Now, you're going to need to get your products and services to your customers, and the way that you do it is through your channels. These are the touch points that you have with your customers and the way that you actually deliver the value to them. It involves everything from raising awareness about your products and services for people to buy, all the way to once they've actually bought them and started using them, you might be providing customer support to them. Examples of customer relationships are personal or automated, transactional or long-term, and your customers might be your fans. This is the building block that you use to think about how you acquire customers, retain customers, and then potentially upsell to customers that you've already sold to. You might even have built a community, or you might have some switching costs that make it hard for your customers to switch to another brand. Your revenue streams represent the ways that your company generates cash from each customer segment. Some examples might include transactional sales, usage fees, subscription fees, lending, renting, or leasing fees, licensing, brokering fees, or potentially advertising. Sometimes you might offer value for free to your customers, and it's a good idea to put that in this box as well. For example, Facebook offers its platform for free to its users, but then it charges companies to advertise, and that's how it makes money through advertising revenue. The key partners are the people and organizations that you're working with to help actually make the business model work. And it can be helpful to think about it in terms of the motivation for creating these partnerships. One motivation might be acquiring certain skills, resources, or activities. Another one might be reducing risk and uncertainty. And thirdly, you might want to create optimization and economies of scale. The key activities building block describes the most important things that your company needs to do to actually make the whole thing work. Often there are 2 sides to it, marketing and sales on one side, and then delivering those products and services on the other side. The key resources are the assets that you need to make the whole thing work. This can be actual things like factories or technology. It might be financial assets like money. It could be intellectual property, or it could be like human resources like your employees, for example. Once you know what your key resources, key activities, and key partners are, then you'll have a good idea of what your costs will be. And this is the cost structure building block. Now, costs are usually either fixed or they might be variable. So example of fixed costs can be salaries or rent, and maybe variable costs could be something like raw materials or commission or maybe delivery costs. My advice to you is to use these 9 building blocks and map out your business models, because it's going to help you have much better quality conversations. And so people are actually going to be literally on the same page now in your organization, and they're going to know exactly how your business works and not have different interpretations of it necessarily, because you're going to be singing from the same hymn sheet. And the great thing about this tool is that you can use it to look forward and map out completely new business models, but you can also use it to look backwards and look at your existing business models and map out what they look like right now. And you're going to be avoiding blah, 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 blah. The 9 building blocks of the business model canvas are just the basics. If you want to get to the next level, what you want to look at is business model patterns. Now, Alex Osterwalder wrote about these in his book, The Invincible Company, and I highly recommend that you check that out. Now, I'm going to be talking about business model patterns a lot more in future videos. So if you want to find out more, make sure that you check out my YouTube channel, subscribe there, and I look forward to seeing you in another video. See you later, everybody.